For the past few weeks, I've been trying to find the easiest Pokemon card to grade. And not just the easiest, but also the most expensive in the PSA 10. Because usually when a Pokemon card is very easy to grade, the card is not very expensive in the PSA 10. But after spending hours on eBay and Pokemon communities and talking to ChatGPT, I finally managed to find it. And spoiler alert, they are not Japanese cards. First, I needed to know what Pokemon set had the highest print quality. Because when you pull a card from a booster pack, you're not guaranteed to get a PSA 10 quality card. And I quickly found out that Shining Fates and Celebrations have the best print quality overall. But after taking a look at the cards from Shining Fates, I realized that most of these cards are not really that valuable at all in a PSA 10. So I decided to take a closer look at Celebrations, and I was pretty impressed. After looking at statistics from TCG Fish and reading grading stories from collectors, I realized that the set was really easy to grade. And there were actually a couple of specific cards that caught my eye. And all of them were actually pretty expensive in a PSA 10. So I decided to check if all of this data was actually true by going to the biggest Pokemon card convention in the Netherlands. Now, our goal is to find 3 specific cards from Celebrations that are incredibly easy to grade. But actually, we're not gonna send the cards to PSA because PSA grading is like kind of difficult for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to send to Beckett, which actually gives us the ability to get black label 10s, which are even more expensive than PSA 10s. So that's what we're going to try to find today. Alright, so we knew what our plan was, but we had one small problem. Because we clearly weren't the only ones trying to get to this event. Alright, so as you guys can see, it's pretty busy. There are a lot of people in line. But we didn't really have to worry about that after all. Okay, so we just basically skipped the entire line because we have VIP content creator tickets. Now, it was actually way harder to find these cards than I thought. But after 45 minutes, we finally got the first card from our list. Okay, so we bought a couple of cards specifically for grading, which is going to be first the Flying Pikachu VMAX from Celebrations. This one is in perfect condition, so that's awesome. And the same is actually for this Blastoise from Celebrations, but this is the only one we found which is in perfect condition. Now, that Pikachu wasn't really one of the big cards we were looking for, but Blastoise actually was. Because this card is surprisingly only $10, but goes for $80 in a PSA 10. And the card we bought today actually has a very high shot at a 10. But before we continue our journey for the other cards, it's time for a quick pack battle. The cameraman is going first with the Japanese Journey Together pack.
Oh my god.
And nothing. And now it's my turn with Heat Wave Arena. Alright, let's do it. We got a horse, Electric Man, Cyndaquil, horse. Boom, easy win. After celebrating my victory, I continued to look for the other 2 cards we were hunting for. I actually found all of the 3 cards we've been looking for already, but all of them had to be in perfect condition, which made it a lot more difficult to find them. However, we managed to find another one pretty quickly. Alright, so we got another one. We got the Venusaur from Celebration, which is also just in incredible condition. So boom, that's 2 out of 3 cards finished. But there's actually one other card that we really need to get. And I know what you might be thinking, but it's not gonna be the Charizard from Celebrations. In the meantime, we also decided to open a Black Bolt ETB and got some pretty nice cards. We're going to open a brand new set of Black Bolt and let's see if we can get some very cool cards. Oh, that's cool.
That's a pull.
Woo!
No,
double
no,
banger,
no.
double banger, double banger, double banger. Yeah, that was basically all the good pulls we got. After this, we kept searching for 3 more hours for the final card, but almost no one seemed to have the card. So I actually decided to buy 2 exclusive collection boxes, and we ordered the 1 missing card online. Bought 2 more boxes. We bought a Tapu Koko collection box, and finally, actually a box I've never seen before, but it's the Charmander Sidekick collection with 3 super cool booster packs. So after that, we decided to go home and take a look at the final and probably the best card of our list. But before we did that, it was time to take a closer look at the Blastoise and Venusaur we bought today. Because these cards are in absolute awesome condition. Especially the Venusaur, because that one might even have a shot at a Black Label 10. But the final and the craziest card that was extremely difficult to find at the convention is the Mega Rayquaza EX from Celebrations. This card goes for $35 raw, but in a PSA 10 goes for almost $220. And actually, almost all of the raw cards that I found on eBay, Card Market and other platforms were in PSA 10 condition. So after searching for hours, I came to the conclusion that the Mega Rayquaza EX is the easiest and most expensive Pokemon card to grade in 2025. We're gonna send all 3 of these cards to Beckett, so if you're curious what grades these cards will get, make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments. Now if you like grading cards, make sure to check this video about the best Pokemon cards to grade in 2025.